Nairaland servers shut down. 11 Nigerian startups to receive funding for AI innovations. Adobe drops its proposed 20 billion acquisition of Figma. SEC charges Tingo Group boss for fraud. And Central Bank of Lesotho restores bank transfers after Cyberattack. All this and many more on this week's episode. Hi, you can call me FK, and this is Tech News from Africa and beyond. This week, Nigeria's 7th most visited website and arguably biggest online forum, Nairaland, has had its servers shut down by its host. When Nairaland servers first shut down, Nairaland's founder, Seun Oshewa, tweeted on Monday that the site was undergoing some unscheduled maintenance work by the site's host. However, this felt a bit suspicious, as maintenance work that will take down a site of that magnitude cannot just be done abruptly without prior notice. Then, the real news about what actually happened started coming out. So this is what really happened. Nairaland's site hosting and delivery is actually powered by Cloudflare. Cloudflare is one of the biggest content delivery networks in the world. Now this month, some offensive content was found on Nairaland which violated some of Cloudflare's policies on abuse. Cloudflare then sent Nairaland an abuse report on the 14th of December, notifying Nairaland of the content that they found out and advising them to take the content down. Now, Seun Oshewa, the site's founder, admitted to have ignored this report by Cloudflare, which sadly led to the site being taken down. The takedown then prompted Nairaland to quickly take action, remove the offensive content, and submit back an appeal for their site to be brought back up. But as obedience is better than sacrifice, Nairaland is now finding it difficult to get Cloudflare's attention to bring its servers back online now that the issue has been resolved. Fortunately, the site was back up again after Nairaland appealed that it had fixed the issue, but was then taken down a second time. The assumption for this second takedown is that some of the offensive content may still be cached on Cloudflare servers. Being a daily high-traffic forum that could not tolerate long periods of downtime as more and more users continue to get impatient and frustrated by the day, Nairaland had to resort to a quick fix by moving its site to a different server temporarily in order to continue to serve users. Now this is a very smart move by Nairaland because you don't want your users leaving your platform after so many days of being down. And another platform can even take advantage of the opportunity to get your users. But honestly, I must say, to Nairaland's defense, migrating is not an easy task. It's a non-trivial task. Like, imagine you moving from one house to another, or even you have to move to another house that is in another state. You know how difficult that is. Now multiply that by times 10. Yeah, that's what it means. Moving a big site like that from one host to another host and have everything working as it used to be. Due to this slow migration process, Seun Oshewa, Nairaland's founder, is pleading with users to be patient, as there might still be some issues here and there with the functionalities and availability of the site. So the last time I checked the Nairaland site, that's even today, it was still up. But I'm not really a big user of Nairaland. I don't even really use it. So I can't say much as to what functionality is working and which one is not working. But if you are watching this and you know how Nairaland really works and you see that something is not working, please feel free to tag them on Twitter to any of the issues that you've discovered. The Nigerian National AI Research Grant Scheme, NAIRS, a program looking to financially support researchers and startups pursuing innovations in the artificial intelligence space, has announced a round of 45 recipients of the grant. Nigeria's Ginger Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, announced this in a post on X this Tuesday, celebrating the recipients and giving more details on how thorough the selection process was. He also mentioned healthcare, agriculture, and education as some of the sectors to which these AI grants cut across. Now, what I'm about to say has nothing to do with the AI grants that we're giving. These are well deserved and I'm super excited about it. But I think one slick hack to getting investors money these days is to just add AI to whatever you're doing. Find a way to add AI to your pitch in whatever way. You see, by the end of this year, I would like if I can get the data on how much money has actually gone to AI startups and also gone internally to AI powered features in apps. In fact, even Zoom has AI now. Zoom has AI. So whatever you're doing today, if you like be sieving Gary, if you like be doing a logistics app or a daycare, this thing, if you want to increase your chances of getting investor money, just sprinkle a little AI, a little AI into your product, into your pitch deck. Out of the 45 recipients consisting of both individuals and organizations, 11 of them are startups doing amazing things with AI. Now, there was even one of them, I think it's called Tamela. They are training AI models for ultrasound imaging. Now, I just got super excited about that. Like, think of how useful that would be to expectant mothers and their OBGYN. Now, if I was an investor, that would definitely be one of the startups I'm going to be looking to invest. It is expected that each recipient will receive up to 5 million naira in funding. Adobe's plan to hire collaborative UI design tool Figma for $20 billion will no longer be happening. Following the EU and UK's antitrust investigation into the deal, Adobe and Figma have decided to mutually drop the deal. The major issue regulators had with the deal was Adobe's near monopoly in the design market, and acquiring Figma, which has established itself as a force in the space, will be further strengthening Adobe's monopoly, hence the pushback on the deal. As a result of this deal being dropped by both companies, Adobe will now have to pay Figma $1 billion in cash as a reverse termination fee. Imagine becoming a unicorn startup just because an acquisition didn't fall through. You become a unicorn straight. This is like asking a lady out on a date and you had to pay settlement fee because you couldn't make it. Yeah, I'm very sure a lot of ladies like that. Before both parties decided to drop the deal, regulators had given options for which the deal could go forward, all of which Adobe rejected. You see, the EU has really been fighting consumer battles these days when it comes to the tech space. Remember that the EU was the one that gave us USB-C on iPhone. Stubborn Apple had to put USB-C on iPhone just because the EU was not going to have it. So I'll say big ups to the EU, at least before we start getting scared about your own influence also. You're still doing the good work, so yeah, we're on your side for now. In an ongoing investigation by the Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States, the founder of Tingo Group, Dozie Mobosi, also known as Mobosi Odogu Banye, has been charged for massive fraud. Not just fraud though, massive fraud. Let's continue. In a report by TechPoint, Dozie has been accused of inflating the financial performance of his companies, which include Tingo Group, Agri Fintech Holdings, and Tingo International Holdings. He has also been accused of fabricating customer relationships and fraudulently obtaining hundreds of millions of dollars in money or property through these schemes. Tech Cabal also captured one major misappropriation by Dozie, where Tingo reported having cash and cash equivalent of $461.7 million for the fiscal year 2022, but in actual fact, their bank accounts only contained $50. Wait, am I saying this properly? $50 or $50 million? Which one are we talking about? If it's $50 million that's supposed to be in the account instead of $461 million, that's already crazy. But I'm saying $50. No, this is better. $50. Jesus Christ. Tingo has been a subject of a Hindenburg report which described the company as an obvious scam, and Dozie has been accused of siphoning funds for his personal benefit, including purchases of luxury cars and travel on private jets, as well as an unsuccessful attempt to acquire an English football club in the Premier League, amongst other things. Baba stole money, so pay, the price Premier League club. Odogu indeed. CBL, the Central Bank of Lesotho, has restored back interbank transfers 8 days after a cyber attack hit the country's digital money transfer infrastructure. In a report by TechPoint.Africa, a joint announcement by the Apex Bank and the Bankers Association of Lesotho (BAL) says that banks can now process transactions with other banks. However, it advised customers to anticipate delays as the processing of payments is done manually. Manually, ke? It better not be what I'm thinking. So, what is it? A request will be coming in, and it will be coming to actual humans. They will first log it, then they will process the transfer. Oh, that's going to be madly slow, even if it's impossible. Thank God Lesotho is just the whole population of Lesotho is just 2 million people. But even that, 1.11 million of them are online. And I don't know how human beings can handle transfers from even a fraction of that particular online population. However, there is hope going forward, as the Apex Bank has promised that the industry is working to make the payment process more efficient soon. The country's money transfer systems were hit with a cyber attack on December 11, 2023. While no financial losses or any other types of losses were incurred, the Apex Bank temporarily suspended some of its systems to prevent further infiltration. It's Christmas season and we're going to be using Santa's sleigh to go on a speed run. Kenya to build 1,450 ICT hubs to improve its ICT ecosystem. As part of its efforts to implement the recently launched Digital Master Plan for 2022 to 2032, the Kenyan government is set out to build 1,450 ICT hubs around the country. In a report by TechPoint.Africa, the project, which is set to commence in January 2023, will offer Kenyans digital literacy training, film production, and public access to government services across the country. Job creation is also part of this strategic move, as the government hopes to generate up to 300 jobs per center. Now, these are the type of news I like to hear. Any project that boosts digital literacy amongst the citizens, I'm always super excited about that. But I'm still going to say something. Please, as you're making all these plans, also make plans to maintain these places. Make plans to keep them running. We don't want to come back 3 years later and this place has turned to a store. Please. Nigerian delivery startup DropX shuts down after 2 years of operation. Founded in 2021 by Praise Ali Johnson and Oluwatope Liasu, DropX, a Nigerian on-demand logistics startup, announced that it's shutting down this week. Despite attracting up to 2,000 customers and hiring 500 drivers, DropX has struggled to achieve a profitable model. Intense competition in the space was cited as the reason for the decision to finally shut down. Sadly, another logistics company bites the dust. Like I said in one of the previous episodes, logistics business is not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the weak. You will need to die and resurrect multiple times in order to survive in that business. OCTA snatches up security firm Spera for over $100 million. For between $100 million to $130 million, identity and access management giant OCTA will be acquiring Spera, as reported by TechCrunch. The deal, which is expected to be closed during the first quarter of next year, will see OCTA absorbing Spera. Spera's specialization is to provide tools for identifying silos across software as a service and infrastructure apps, helping to discover vulnerabilities across user populations and prioritize security issues based on regulations, attack vectors, and industry best practices. It's like once there is a fast-growing identity company, any fast-growing company in the identity security space, OCTA will just snatch them up. OCTA will just snatch them up. I remember that years ago when I was writing for Auth0, and then I used to feel Auth0 was a very big player in the space. But before you know it, OCTA bought them up as if it was nothing. Like they just bought a box of cookies. Yes, it was more than that. It was for a lot of money. But it was so easy for Auth0, that I felt was a giant, to be acquired. Starlink goes live in Eswatini months after receiving license. Now I can bet $100 that a couple of you watching this don't know that such a country exists in Africa. Okay? Even me, I'm not going to claim I really know they existed. It rang a bell, but yeah, that's some geography lesson for you. The Southern African country becomes the latest country to support Elon Musk's internet service following the official launch of the service on Monday this week. According to a report by TechAbao, Eswatini becomes the 8th country in Africa where the Starlink service is now available. Now, before we go, this is the Christmas season, so I'm going to be wishing everybody a happy Christmas and, or is it Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. That's all the tech updates we have for you for this week. Be sure to join us next week for more tech updates from Africa and beyond. And remember to subscribe so that you don't miss a single episode. Till next week, I remain your bro in tech, FK. Now, this is a very smart move by... If you like making Gary, yeah, if you like, following the UE. I see UK first. I got here. If it's $50 million that is supposed to be in account, next year we'll see Spera. One day I will bring you. You can't read it.